Hey everyone. I just wanted to say that I really hope that you guys stay on this message because it can not only resonate with people that do have a religious taste for Christ, but it can also resonate with people that are just, maybe feeling like a little bit off of their own path or feeling a little bit as though they should be doing something more with their lives than they're able to or that they're allowing themselves to, or maybe just you're not giving yourself the chance that you feel like you deserve in order to basically, glow up and actually, dig yourself out of a situation or, something like that, because it's a message that's supposed to resonate with people that have been, through a lot of hardship, and they're trying to figure things out to move forward, where it's like they just don't feel like their glow up or their blow up area of their life has ever been allowed for them. Or it's for people that might feel like maybe they're placing themselves as a lower standard for themselves because they just don't see that they don't see it within themselves how beautiful that they actually are as a person or as a people, but they're undermining themselves by not trying, and they might feel as though like maybe I should try and do something different with my life in order to figure out forward. Maybe you're just feeling stuck, or you're feeling like you might want to just even try, I don't know, maybe even just try to get out more and walk around, and you don't have to be searching for anything or anything like that, but it's just basically like just your ability to suggest to yourself that you're worth more. You're worth more than what you're giving yourself, or you're worth more than something you've accepted. Maybe you didn't necessarily want to perform a certain way, or not be able to see through something with absolute clarity. But I'm hoping that you can stay on this message. So I'm basically working on my lyrics as I normally do when I'm put in a situation where it's like I have been so thoroughly hard pressed in life, where these people have legitimately tried to steal away my blessings, my glow, my availability to my own self, mentally, physically, metaphysically, spiritually, just in so many ways that a poisoning would take on inside of a person's life. And so, though you may not be a person that's been poisoned, per se, like with every intent of being poisoned, there's other ways that a poisoning can happen in a way that is to affect your availability to yourself. You might be accepting certain things in your life that you otherwise wouldn't feel like you would normally accept. And so obviously I like writing hardcore rap, trap, hyperpop, hip-hop, and just rock, like a country hyperpop, easy, chill feel. It's the same kind of things I like to work on when I work on my drumming. I just haven't been able to drum because of certain things that were blown up in my life. So though like these people just wanted to party all over my life. They like literally used my home to party in and defile my home after 20 plus years of homelessness, or fighting homelessness. Not just I was on the streets for 20 plus years. It wasn't like that. I tried to prevent myself from thinking that any place that I was setting foot on the ground throughout life was anything of my own accord, because I could feel it down to my bones that this was covertly planned, and I was under a covert spiritual warfare, battling for myself in a fashion that none of what I'm having to live is actually me. This is all done by somebody else somewhere that wants to prevent me from glowing up, prevent me from having the availability to myself to even articulate it to a T for people to understand it. And so maybe other people can understand that. And I think that people can, and especially when I'm coming into myself still now, to being able to articulate and utilize the vocabulary that I do have to actually take it out here in a way that is more understandable, is more readable, and is more correlatable, or like other people can correlate to what I'm actually saying, and not like thinking of it as like they just can't make sense of it or wrap their minds around it. So obviously I'm stepping into a new light with information that I've been sharing here, and I want people to be able to understand that people have been preventing me from my own growth around every possible outcome and turn that they could have taken to come upon my life. And so people have done this kind of spell work in prior years where they said that they, like an old roommate of mine was to say that he went to a tarot reader, and it was like one of those light readers, not like a dark tarot type of reader. I don't really believe in any of it. I don't like any of it personally. I see a lot of it online, and I see what people are getting at, what they're saying, but when they're doing this dark spell work over people and things like that, it's really hard to think for yourself that how are you going to get out from under if people are legitimately doing black magic and rituals over your life in this kind of fashion. But he had gone to a reader, and it was said that my life was insurmountably rich. Like I didn't know I was rich, or I didn't know that I had an inheritance or something like that, but I was monstrously blessed. And so it was to say that there's people that are preventing me from that blessing and it being utilized in that fashion, where it was himself doing the same kind of spell work and going right along with that spell work that was being placed over my life. And so nobody should think that with there being a unwitting poisoning, meaning to psychologically hamper a person's ability, that you're lashing out or reaching for their love or being placed into a way where you're like going to people for help that you shouldn't absolutely go to for help. That's very Stockholm Syndrome type of behavior. And so people can remain in have cognitive dissonance because they're presented with the truth, right? And they're presented with the truth that goes against their natural beliefs of what another would be performing like, or what another person would be saying or showing that they are. But it's really harsh because you might have love for these people. You might want a real relationship with a certain person or certain people, but then they show you that they, in little pieces, that they don't give any care about you whatsoever. And so it can be really harsh for you in that setting, because all of a sudden you just don't feel comfortable inside of where you thought you were able to be trusting these people. You see what I mean? And so it's a hardcore split, like a duplicity that's then created where you have to like compartmentalize in order to, or have like a partition in your mind where you have to feel like you have to figure this out, and you can't allow that to be initiated inside of your life to then not allow you to your truest potential in life, correct? And so they did this to me, and that there was a huge blessing inside of my life, or a super big inheritance inside of my life. They wanted to prevent me from getting that exposure and getting anything of that nature happening inside of my own life and my own light. And I think that people can correlate to that. They can understand it. And so it's very important that people understand, as a way that they're trying to literally steal away not only that light from me to be able to see what these people are doing so that I have the ability to shine brighter for myself, but that they wanted to ensure that I was never going to be able to. So that even if it was suggested to them through their tarot reading or whatever, that they wanted to prevent me from having an inheritance, they also saw it in the future that it would be beyond measure for these people working in the dark magic over my life to steal it away from me. And so they didn't not only want to steal me from my money and my time and energy and resource, because they didn't want me to blow up in my life to actually be able to have any kind of blessing of my own creation, of my own doing, but even if it meant that how do you say that truest portion of your work and your skills that you can create, starting little by little, but that you can do and you can create and reach that blessing that would be able to not only create blessings for yourself, but create blessings for other people as well. Create blessings in many folds for them. But it's not even that they care about your own skills to be able to glow up and create that life of a blessing for yourself. No, they cared more to prevent you from ever getting a chance to reach that blessing at all. You see, so even with you being able to potentially create that with your skills and your nature and what you're actually doing in your life with your plans, these people want to not only prevent you from those plans, but they want to prevent you from even suggesting that you're going to be able to get away from their dark occultist magic, in order to prevent others from seeing that you are actually working on anything at all. You see, it's to prevent others from seeing you clearly, so that it can put in the minds of other people that nothing that you can do to try and articulate what has been happening inside of your life in cycles and cycles on repeat would ever be able to be said in a way that would be able to articulate to get anybody to believe you about it. And which was exactly what was said, and coming from another party is, oh, okay, well, good luck getting anyone to believe you, because their plans were to keep me in that cycle and those cycles of abuse, just circling and circling in my life, not allowing me to ever reach exposure, not allowing me to the brightness of my own truest nature. And so reaching somebody to actually help you to get the appropriate representation or something like that, in order to actually get away from these people with their intentions being hardcore placed inside of your life. It's like a whole mob mentality, that group mentality that, certain people like myself might want to be able to move away from, to reach a place of light that maybe they don't feel that they have the availability to in the portion of the cup, so to speak, that they're even giving themselves a chance to, or maybe they don't know it, like I didn't know it, but it's at the same time that you're reaching for a light that you can see is possible, that you can visualize, and you can visualize in such an amazing way that it's to suggest these people aren't just denying you your blessings, These people are legitimately not caring so much about your blessings that any blessings that could come from you, your work, your workmanship, your ingenuity or integrity. They don't want any blessing from you at all. And even if you were able to give them tenfold or hundredfold of what they could ever create for themselves, they just don't want you at all in the picture. You see what I'm saying? It's really evil. It's super evil is what I'm getting at. And so some people might have wanted to be around just to create a scene to suggest that you should just let bygones be bygones and we can go forward from here. And it's just like, no, this is way too insane. This is way too harsh of a situation that I can't personally deal with that. I can't live with that. I'm not going to just let bygones be bygones here because it is. It's just too incredibly painful and insane. Like, literally insane. So if you are around people that don't want you to have any light at all inside of your life in that kind of fashion, and you're like a poisoned up victim, or they're poisoning up your reality, they're creating you psychological warfare and tampering with your life in that fashion, just as this person could specifically do to me at certain times, being on the phone with me so nicely for weeks, week in, week out, and me having been establishing that light back in my body by rollerblading, by working extra hard, by getting up early, trying to get, not as little as sleep as I could, but literally I'd be working hard, basically sleeping like 4, maybe 5, 6 hours a night, at most, because of how hard I was going on myself. Like, I really wanted to break away from this spiritual warfare and this covert warfare. And so, because I was able to get that light, it would be all of a sudden, like, just literally being on the phone with him. He's like, oh, well, I'm here, buddy. I'm here, buddy. To having him just come in and poison you in your cup and, like, shove it to your face and almost breaking your front teeth. And you're like, what in the fuck, dude? And it's just like, oh, well, you're not going to remember this soon anyway. Because, say, at the times, I wasn't very well adjusted to my situation there, because I had just been barely out of homelessness, having a place to stay. But at the same time, it's that pressure that's just like, man, I'm going through so much in my life. I really wanted a weekend where I could just kind of relax and have a few drinks and have fun, and then all of that fun, all of that energy, all of everything that could have been that weekend was just gone, washed completely out. I was sick as fuck. Gee, like, I'm telling you, I was fucking sick, like, because of not only the psychological torment of that behavior, but the poisoning and just everything that they did to me, where it's like I literally lost my train of thought. I literally lost my train of thought yet again, and didn't see how nicey these two people were treating each other. You see what I'm saying? My roommate and this guy looking dead in the eye. I mean, he looked at him dead in the eye when he did this to me. So he's a not only a covert abuser, being drawn into it somehow, but he's an eyewitness to something that he can't even suggest to be an eyewitness to because of his involvement. Unless there's a way that can be shaken up in another way, but it can't, because of how he's actually moved in my life. And him knowing that, and these people knowing that, they're literally establishing it to where I don't have any chance of actually reaching that light, reaching out for that light that I was trying to reach out for so hard, or even have the ability to make sense of it at the time, to be suggesting it for myself with your reasoning skills being shot to shit, and you're like literally being poisoned up in a position where these people are literally preventing you to even have someone be in your life that you could actually reach out to organically and have an organic conversation with about the things that you're actually experiencing in your life. And most people just in the general, don't want to hear it. So I'm hoping that whoever's ears this reaches, that you'll stay on my content here, because not only do I need your help and support in this, but I believe that there's others out here in the world that are dealing with god-awful things that they still have yet to reach discovery on. You feel? And so I hope that you stay on this. It's not very, very much longer. It's just that all of a sudden, like these people, they turn into a demon inside of your life. Like, I'm not just talking about some little thing that, like, coming from one area that you can see and move around and get away from. No, I'm talking about really serious crimes, really serious demons that literally are poisoning you, physically poisoning you. And then it's witting now. It's like overt, not covert. It's overt there, which then means that you live through that. You now are up against a really dangerous position where these people working within Syndicate from that point onward literally needed to take you out, which is exactly why my next relationship pulling away from there was narcissistic as fuck, poisoning me, suggesting she didn't care what happened to the car after poisoning me, and poisoning me unwittingly, mind you, because it was meant to be a loving situation in my eyes. You know, like, I didn't want to get involved with anybody that wasn't actually looking to be in my future. You see what I mean? Like, in a healthy fashion, in a healthy exchange of events. But it wasn't that way at all, to the point where, like, me living through that, it was like immediate conversations then were revolving around the car itself. Like, I had put a lot of money into this car. Can I be on the title of the car now? Because I should at least be the second person. That way, if, you know, I'm not saying it as like, and I wasn't saying it as if there was like a breakup in order or anything like that, but at least that way I could fight to have the car that I was paying for. But it was never initiated that way. It was initiated in the way to basically use my time and energy, the same way it was using my time and energy in the relationship in general, to be a proxy made partner for me, to poison me up and put me in that position, to steal that money away from me, as if it's to steal it away legitimately. Literally stealing away my time, energy, resources, my love life away from me, the time to have that love life, to be anything that was real. It was all fake. Because next thing I knew is, like, just because I legitimately want to pay for a car that is supposed to be mine, you know, like, it's not supposed to be hers, it's not supposed to be anybody else's, it was supposed to be my car that I'm going to pay for, and which would have already been paid for by now and then some. But the fact of the matter is that that's not their goal. Their goal is to continue carrying out your energy in an energy harvest. It's really sick, but it's to carry and harvest off of your energy like you're a big coupon for their game, their rivalry against your life and your light to glow up and shine. So if you've experienced anything like that, it's really harsh. It's really harsh to see through it. It's really harsh to, like, articulate it to where people can understand it. But I think that right now, I'm actually able to do that. And so with the presentation here, I'm hoping that not only does it reach your ears as far as what you are able to do for yourself, further than where you are right now, because you deserve more beauty inside of your own life than this world seems to have capacity to hold, you feel? And even some of ourselves, like, at times, like, just without these things, just without any of this, maybe you're not giving yourself the real chance to glow up and become who you should be. And I think you should really give yourself that chance, because if you're just going to be taking the step back and working for somebody else's dreams, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a wrong place to be in. Like, work hard for who you work for. But also, when you get off of work, go to work hard on yourself as well, because you deserve that glow up and that feeling, that good feeling in your life. So obviously these people wanted to prevent me, and that relationship was ended the moment she said that she was going to throw herself down the stairs and call the cops and blame me. Good God, I am in a dangerous position now. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out now. I can't be doing this. So I legitimately was for months on end, we're not together. In my mind, we're not together. I'm getting away from this. There's no way I'm gonna stay here. I was gonna just up and leave, and I didn't care where my stuff went. I originally thought I was going to be going and putting stuff into where my where I was working before, and putting my stuff there. It was in the nick of time that I did meet somebody, and I really did care about the situation working out. I was just really thrown into a tailspin of my life at this point. So I really felt bad at the same time, because it's like, how do you do that? How do you get out of a situation that's constantly following you around like this? It didn't matter if I was going homeless in the first place. It didn't matter in my first apartment. It didn't matter going back home. It didn't matter getting out of home, getting my living in my brother's basement. It didn't matter, because it was pushing me out sooner than I could actually sustain where I would be going, which my car would then be repoed. And it was right after that where it was like, dude, all of this stuff is just setting me up for fucking disaster, and these motherfuckers know it. So it's like, how can you even do that to me when I legitimately was just asking for a couple more months, the same way I was just doing in the recent fighting homelessness to come here, asking my brother if I could have a little bit more time. Well, it wasn't offering me any more time, because they wanted to prevent me from getting away, so that I couldn't not only expose the crime for what it is, but get back to my truest nature. And that really sucks, and it's hard to explain those truths, because the people that wanted to act one way and then act another in just a nick of time, you start putting it together wittingly for yourself, as though you start to act as though you are able to see it for yourself, but you're just not trying to show it to other people, because if you show it to these people that are performing the crimes against you, you're not going to get away from it. So even when you're placed inside of a fake relationship, going to a fake Christmas, and a fake availability to suggest and put inside of the minds of other kids, other individuals, other people in your family, that everything that happens to this person is because of this person's solo numero them. Nothing else to see here, when there is. And these people work to spiritually and emotionally and integrally elevate you, just to slip out in the nick of time, withdraw, and it's manipulation. And when you're looking at that type of manipulation and sabotage, that is legitimately what witchcraft is. It's black magic, it's dark magic, it's spell work, it's all of that. So, where was I in my notes here? Give me a second. So you're looking for help, and any way that they can offer you help isn't supporting you as well. It's just warming up your character, which I was basically just covering. Warming up your character to the simulation that they're trying to perform over your life, literally meaning to pervert your life, mind you, and then prevent you from getting away so that you can't become anything of your own self, your truest nature. It really sucks, and it's hard to explain, because these truths that people just want to escape from, where you could be one way, you could be loving. You could be supported for real. You could be within relations. You could be like enjoying family times and family matters, throwing the football around, enjoying life. You could be setting up trips, and you could be going, just the sky's the limit. You could be doing so many beautiful things together, and instead they're just trying to slip away in the nick of time and momentarily take away that love, that connectedness, that warmth that was placed in your character, while they leave you literally desperate, in a desperate situation, body starving of oxygen, mind unable to think. Where do I go with this? Where do I go with this? For a few minutes before it just slips completely away. Next thing you know is you're literally going to those same people for help within the same simulation that they've been playing out the whole time. And that's kind of where I believe the sorcery comes into play, because the sorcery and the sorcerers is the chemicals that people get inside of people's bodies to get them to ingest the crimes of them not needing the mental warfare, like psychological, spiritual warfare, but them definitely not needing extra chemicals being put inside of their body in replace of what these people are doing to you to make you look as though you're eroding, so that you have to go and you go into the therapist, or you go into your doctor, and your doctor is going to suggest that they think you're depressed, and they're not able to listen to the full story, you see. And so it's just utilizing a very calculated action that's constantly put inside of your life, that's then in the moments of time suggesting that you need to be on something. And you really don't. You really don't. I don't think any of us do. Truth be told, I don't think that any of us do. I think people need to work on their minds to realize things inside of their minds that they could be doing and should be doing a whole lot better in their own glow up than they are literally seeing themselves in the capacity for. Meaning, if you like rollerblading, for an example, and your heart's fine, you're not dealing with anything weird within your health, you want to get out there every day and work on your health and rollerblade, or do something of exercising to get away from, smoking cigs, or, get away from things of that nature, then you're actually able to glow up. You're actually able to take out that energy. I don't even care if it's a 10-minute walk a day. Take that 10-minute walk a day, and soon you'll find yourself walking for 25 minutes a day. Believe in yourselves. Believe in yourselves and take faith into the next actions that you're trying to make inside of your life, so that you can think for yourself that you not only deserve that light, that you can reach for it too, and reach for the stars. I'm not even kidding you. Reach for the stars. Sometimes the horrible heat that people put inside of people's life is literally preventing them, and it's happening to them on repeat throughout their lives, much like it has been my own. And it's hard to bear. It's hard to even get to know what it is happening to them. But it's also very, very, very hard to deal with, because you loved them, and you needed your friends. You needed your family to be there for you. You needed these people to be at least cornerstones of real people inside of your life, where if you had a relationship and it just wasn't working out, you could suggest to these people, it's just not working out. I'm going to call back my autonomy. It's nothing against you. I just want to move on my own accord right now. And you need to just let me go. Like, I have the right to my autonomy, and we're breaking up. And they should just be able to, oh, shucks, I ruined my chance, and walk away. Because people have the right to their autonomy. You don't have the right to control that person's life from their moving forward. You don't have the right to instigate for more spiritual warfare if a person is calling back their time and energy. You don't have the right to hurt them. You don't have the right to You don't have the right to be mad at somebody that's calling back their time and energy and autonomy. These people have the right to their fucking autonomy. So when they work to prevent that or stop that, and they see these moments in a time that is you recalling back to the moments before you could remember, and I couldn't remember these places because these people legitimately wanted to use my house in a disrespectful way. These people really wanted to use my money and time in a disrespectful way. These people crossed every single boundary that I was drawing in a disrespectful way. And when I couldn't prevent it or stop it or even see back to call up those times in memory, then it was me running on empty, ruined, unable, because I was starved of oxygen down to the bone and I couldn't utilize my mind. So the victim in this situation, it gets really insane. It's really sadistic coming from those that you could love and that you wanted a love life to be able to be working in this fashion to psychologically damage its victim. Bad enough to where I believe that these people legitimately wanted me to be suicidal and just go take care of the problem myself, which is just legitimately fucked up. Because it's legitimately people that don't and wouldn't give a fuck if you could do anything in their life. They don't care about your blessings. They don't care if you could make anything of yourself. They want to prevent you from making something of yourself. They want to poison you up in every single job that you've ever had, because they were poisoning me up since I was a baby. Since I was a baby. In diapers still. I remember when I first learned how to walk. The reason that I have these memories and I'm able to hold on to them better than before is because of the poisoning. Constantly. Cycles and cycles and cycles. So now I've called back my time and energy and it took me this long to get away from them. All of a sudden it's like, holy shit, my whole world went red when I opened up that door that day. At my dad's, with my dad and others thinking that I wasn't able to walk because I was alone being taught how to walk. And look, I didn't think that I had it in me to walk either, but someone was in trouble in my family. I'll just put it that way. Someone was in big trouble. And I needed to get in there. And I thought that I could stop it somehow. Boy, was I wrong. This stuff just traveled inside of my whole entire life. My whole fucking reality. Just wash Matt completely out of himself. Suggest that all the bad that happens with Matt is just Matt. Nothing else to see here. So now I'm moving in this fashion because these people that aren't allowing me to work, they're not allowing me to my autonomy or my sanctity of my own home. They're not allowing me to my own prayers, for crying out loud. They're not allowing me to try and get food. They're not, and being forced in this position to have to actually ask for food. They're not even trying to allow me to that food, while all of these other institutions within the state of Minnesota, being the highest crime, dealing with these SNAP benefits where these people are getting double portions, and they have SNAP benefits going to literally dead people so that people can utilize an EBT card, like not only double time, triple time, and quadruple time for their families so that they can do whatever they want. These are criminal syndicates that are working in the synagogue of Satan, and I think that people need to be aware of these things because it is dark magic, it is ritual abuse, and people aren't going to be able to deny it when the light of Christ gets here. I can tell you that much. But I believe that that light of Christ is coming through people, just like you. Before Christ even gets here. I'm talking about the real Christ. But the Spirit of the Christ is on the rise this day, and if you can't see it, you're blind. So, as far as that oxygen being starved to the bone, it was literally just putting me in a place that they just wanted to run along and keep lying about it, You can't trust anybody anymore in this position. You have to rely solo on yourself, and you need to rely solo on yourself to save yourself from the crimes that these people are trying to shake off to prevent you from reaching discovery on and reaching a blessing that you should be able to get to reach for the light at the end of that tunnel. Because there should be a light at the end of the tunnel, and if there isn't one, then that light is legitimately getting out of this life and going into heaven. So I hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel in this one, because this kind of crime is very uncommon, and it's just leading people to die in a certain way so that they don't have the availability to barely even see it for themselves, let alone be able to articulate it so that others believe your story, just as Jesse or this other guy were telling me, good luck getting anyone to believe you. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do everything in my power, G. That was a picture that I took. I mean, I'm like legitimately like, I'm gonna take this picture of you to remember what's going on here. And he was just like wanted to shove me away and like fuck off, because he was pissed off I was discovering his crime against me. So these people don't want you to prevent, or these people don't want you to see that crime that they're presenting you, because they want to prevent you from seeing just how sick that they fucking are. Just how fucking sick and manipulative, and using witchcraft and using this sorcery and using, manipulation in those settings to manipulate others, that you're worthless, basically. You're just a piece of shit that deserves that abuse. And nobody deserves that abuse. Not a person. Not coming from the abused or the abusee. Because obviously, sure, this man is sadistic. These people have been really sadistic. But these people, if they actually come to realize the help that they need for their own heart chakra, their own throat chakra, their own minds, they will realize, if they don't already, that if you don't entertain Christ and repent of those sins, you are going to hell. Period. It's written in the Bible. It's written there. So it's just my suggestion for these people is that if you want to work up this whole gray state, Nazi police state, satanic ritual synagogue, and allow all these people to be working so underhandedly in the leftist campaign and smear campaign and slander and abuse and targeting people and this and that, good luck, because y'all should be swinging from the gallows. Every last one of you. So, of course, they want Christians to swing from the gallows, because that suggests they're swinging from the gallows in a big time projection onto their own fuckery, because they're fucking cowards. They're fucking assholes to even work in this way. And I'm sorry to suggest that they should get popped in their MFing faces, but they should, because it's criminal as fuck. There is laws written, and these people that are even working within the syndicates work in places of power, so they can play up that double-minded, bullshit-assed, engrossed, encapsulated heart of theirs, because they're junk. And their whole ideas for what life should look like is junk. I'm sorry, but this is actually how I feel about, I'm not going to even say who, running the state as a state governor that doesn't even want to turn over the auditing of the SNAP benefits, because these people fucking know that it's been a crime. And yeah, me personally, with what's happened in my life, I believe Minnesota has been the deepest of that corruption than anywhere else in this continent. Happening inside of people's lives to prevent them from their glow up and their shine, just like what has happened here with mine, with my life. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you understand this stuff and you're following, because it's not exactly easy to articulate. These people are absolutely right. You come out of a long-standing poisoning, sure, it's going to be hard to utilize my vocabulary at all. It's going to be hard to articulate at all. But I'm going to definitely try, bitch. Because what you did to me and what you've been doing to me is absolutely astonishing. And it's fucking sadistic as fuck. And these people all know it. So until next time, peace. God bless, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves.